Hey fellas, what's going on? Agent Not So Lazy here. So today's video is gonna be a bit of an interesting one because there's something I wanted to share with people because I have seen a lot of people struggling with Soulframe's game optimization. So I want to share some of the video settings that I personally use both on my PC and laptop. You might be noticing my screen looks a bit different because you can see some borders around the edge. That's because this is my laptop that is being screencast onto my PC. I have a KVM switch. It's just that I can't access the video feed from it just yet. So I have to use like Windows built-in wireless display adapter to share the screen while my keyboard and mouse can be passed to the PCs. So the thing is, this laptop is almost 5-year-old laptop that I am using presently. It has a Ryzen 4800H and a Radeon Vega graphics along with the dedicated graphics of RTX 3050 laptop. So performance on this is pretty much low in my opinion, and the game tends to mess around a lot if you ask me. So let me open up Soulframe and show you what is the setting I'm presently using, and I'll tell you if the game is actually playable or not. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting one because this is the first time I'm trying to attempt this kind of cross-device gameplay. I usually don't play games through like cross-device functionality, and the game is running full screen on my laptop, and unlike my PC where I run in borderless window because I have multiple displays, if you have already not figured it out by now. So let me log into my Soulframe account and I should be it. You can see the game is already giving me 100 to 120 FPS. The game looks absolutely disastrous. This is how actually the game looks in the laptop, and this is running with a DLSS preset if I don't mistake. At least I'm happy the game's graphics are not very fuzzy. But yeah, you can see the game runs stable from 70 to 80 FPS. Whoa, that was an interesting lag. This lag is just due to my own network. It's not the game's fault. Just so you know, it may look a bit fuzzy due to the network's compression over my Wi-Fi. So yeah, coming to the video settings. The laptop is running a 1080p panel. The laptop I'm using is a 2020 Asus TUF A15. So that's why it's that. So I'm running 1080p 144Hz for the maximum frame rate. VSync off. I really don't like the weird lagginess it creates. Irrespective of device, I recommend you turn this off. I am sure the game by default keeps this on, so you can turn it off. Next, upscaling is off. By the way, if your PC is struggling and Soulframe has that weird black skybox with the trees mesh having weird physics, I recommend turning off the upscaling. This does affect the performance by quite a significant amount, but if you have AMD graphics, please be using FSR 2.2. It is pretty stable as far as I have tested, but since I'm a NVIDIA graphics card user primarily, I use DLSS. The only reason you want to avoid using DLSS is because of how the ghosting happens. That is, after the element moves, it has like a ghosting effect when it goes on. That's why I tend to keep this off. But this is something at your discretion. Like if you want the information to feed to you faster, you can keep this on. Next, everything is set to low, obviously, and GPU particles should be off. I don't know why it's set to low. Particle system should be low. GPU particle disabled. This is for a laptop that has a 3050, and for PC you can keep it very similar, but you'll get some more of the frame rate back. Second is dynamic lighting off. This kind of takes out the bells and whistles if you ask me. These three specific settings really make Soulframe the game it is if you ask me. And motion blur and everything is off. The only thing which is on is color correction because I cannot withstand bad colors. And optimization flip models in case you're running a windowed full screen, that is if you alt tab the game doesn't minimize. This is something really useful when you have Windows 10 or later OS. So I'm going to confirm the settings, and if you can see, the game is much more playable actually, like 80 to 90 on laptop. On low settings is pretty playable if you ask me. And that's how the game looks. Also stay tuned to the video because I have potentially 3 game keys for Soulframe. So yeah, make sure to watch this and claim your settings. I mean the keys. So that's the first enemy. So what I'm going to do is, whoa, the network lag is actually pretty bad. Whoa, hello good guy. That was a big blast. And he's dead. I mean, given the network lag, my laptop is able to keep up, but not my display. So yeah, that's why I had the fumble at the start. So that's how it will look. So yeah, now time to switch to my main PC. So what I'm going to do is, since I have all the task manager already open, if you see this, this is my main PC. It has a Ryzen 9 from one generation ago, and the GPU is a 4070 Ti Super. So we're going to see how the graphics transitions from a laptop to a PC. And I'm running a pretty bit of a mix of a video setup, if you ask me. So what I want to do is, oh, I should have hit my task manager. Just give me a second. And do this, exit the game, and I'll disconnect from my laptop now so that I can get my keyboard and mouse back onto my PC. And what I want to do is, just give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay fellas, now we are back onto my PC. The game is up to date. Also, one more setting I forgot to mention, gosh damn it, and I launched the game. You know what? Let's kill the game. I really don't like doing this, but yeah. So if you're on your laptop, I recommend you use the DirectX 11, especially if you're on 30 series cards, because I've noticed some shader issues happening in DirectX 12, but the game runs actually much better on DirectX 12 compared to 11. So choose whatever suits your board much better. I personally am using DirectX 12 on my 4070 Ti because the game runs actually with much higher FPS and much more smoothly using this over DirectX 11. So yeah, if you're on a 40 series card, make sure to use DirectX 12 instead of 11. Though it's on beta, it is the same tagging as Warframe. It's pretty much on the same engine. So yeah, you can expect pretty similar behavior. DirectX does have some really bad flaws, I have to say. So I just noticed my game is having double audio. Just give me a minute. So that should fix the double audio issues. Hey, so we are back on PC. You can see the game is locked at 120 FPS. So let me log in. And I'll show you the settings on this PC now. The game looks much crisper, definitely. That's a good mix of low, medium and high, by the way. So this is something I do personally every time I play any games published by Digital Exchange because of the evolution engine, how it behaves. So what I want to do is pause, settings, video. Actually, no, before video, there's one more thing here. Settings I want to show to you guys, that being enable screen shake. Please turn this off. The screen shake is very nauseous. I know. This is one thing I personally do. Volumes are pretty loud, so I keep them a bit low. Up next is going to be the setting. Oh, it copied of the settings from my laptop. Just give me a second, guys. So geometry detail goes to high. Shadow stays at low. Texture memory stays to high because I have a 16GB card. GPU particle count is actually off. Particle system medium. Anisotropic, okay, never mind. Dynamic lights on, volumetric lights on, local reflections on. SSA ambient occlusion is at medium. Volumetric fog, I personally don't like it, so I keep it disabled. Yet somehow it managed to show it up, so I'll keep it at low. High shader quality is place. And bloom on, but at 10%. Weapon, I don't know why it copied out the settings this time, but usually it doesn't, different device to device. So color correction, weapon elemental effects, contact shadow, character shadow, sun shadow, enhanced decal, and optimize flip model is on because I'm on borderless window. So what I'm going to do is confirm the settings. That's definitely going to dip my FPS for sure. The game has frozen and you can see it's rebuilding the assets again. And the game has gone down from 120 FPS to 60, 70 now. So the game absolutely looked ludicrous, but the thing is it's not playable. For me, I want to play the game at 90 FPS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune down some of the settings, that being, first is particle system goes low, texture memory can go to medium, geometry detail stays at medium, SSAO is disabled, high shader can be disabled technically because of the issue, and contact shadows, sun shadows because of the real-time RTX. And that should disable and should improve my FPS by quite a bit actually. You can see the game is running at smooth 70 FPS. And the game looks actually much better now than it was looking on my laptop. I can see that. It's just that I feel a bit nauseous with playing the game like this. That's why I have it at low. You know what? I'll switch back to low. The game lacks certain optimization, but this is usually my Warframe setting I copied over to Soulframe. But Soulframe is much more of a demanding title. So there's one thing I personally do whenever I'm doing the graphics setting, that is save the setting first, exit the game, because it has a very good reason for doing that. Let's wait for my wallpaper to relaunch so I know that it's done. It's done. So what I want to do is go to the launcher, go to DirectX 11. That is, you basically are downloading the shaders. So you can see downloaded the shaders again. Now I'll go back to DirectX 12. It says it's unstable, doesn't matter. So once you do this, optimize the game. This is basically optimizing the Vulkan shaders or whatever shader Warframe is using. And this will use your GPU's memory and recompile all the shaders that is going to be used in the game. And once this is done, enter the game again. And you'll see the difference in FPS once more. Using my previous setting, I'm expecting like a stable 80 FPS, which is how I play Soulframe these days. So once I'm in this, you can see the game is slowly loading into 100 FPS, 110. And now let me log in. Let's see how much the FPS drops. But the game definitely looks much better than what is on my laptop, I'll save that. 100 FPS stable. So if you're struggling with the game visual being a bit of a mess, you're getting those weird artifacts, like the trees are having weird shadows and stuff. Just do this switch and yeah, the game is running stable at 60 without any motion stutterness. I can move around much smoother now. But it doesn't feel like 50, I'll see that. So let me, I think I have the DLSS on this. Yeah, DLSS is on auto, but I can switch to quality. I left it auto, I don't know why. But yeah, the game is actually playable now, like without any stutteriness with like visual tearing. So that's how I usually play my Soulframe. And I don't know how it's being captured in OBS. I see it's being a bit choppy, but compared to my actual gameplay, I'm getting now like stable 80 to 100 FPS if you can see. Okay, you know what? Let's try to engage in the combat and see how many FPS I'm getting. I can see the game is slowly dropping FPS as soon as I load into a new area. But I'm sure it'll drop out, increase again. It's playable. It's a stable 70. Okay, run. But yeah, you can see the game is actually much more playable than what I'm expecting it to be. And I like how these guys are exploding and the animation has been improved on every time they go down. So yeah, that's my usual FPS, like 70-80 FPS is what I'm getting in the average whenever I'm playing Soulframe. And when I go to Nightfold, this is gonna spike back up to 100, I think, slowly. Once it loads in. The physics here are pretty abnormal, I have to say. Like, yeah. So that's the visual settings I follow. Also, now that we are here, time to show you the keys for Soulframe. What I want to do is, the game doesn't have that emote, so I'm going to sit down in the water. And here on screen are the 3 keys I was able to get. These keys were shared via mail. So if you watched this Twitch stream on Soulframe's website, or not Soulframe's website, on Twitch, if you have watched the Soulframe's Devstream 7 a few days back, you might have checked your inboxes with the mail associated with Soulframe or Twitch, where you might have a Soulframe game key. So make sure you are just using the key on the screen, and if you get the key, as usual, just leave down a comment that you have redeemed the key, so that the next person doesn't claim it. And yeah, so that's the 3 keys I have for Soulframe. And yeah, that's all I have for you. And if you're coming here from short, hey, drop a sub to the channel. Maybe there's more stuff coming on the way. Till then, guys, take care. This has been Agent Not So Lazy, signing off. Peace the hell out.